Hi there. In this Sage Business Cloud accounting video, we'll quickly look at NSF checks and bad debts expense. So I'm going to quickly create a new revenue account to handle bank charges as well as our administrative charges when we have to process a check that ends up being NSF. So I'm going to choose settings. I'm going to go down to chart of accounts, new ledger account, and I'll call this administrative fees or something like that. Use the same name, and this one I will make 4110. I already checked to make sure that number wasn't taken, and this is revenue. And I'll save this account. So we'll quickly receive the payment on the invoice, and then what's happened is we get a notice that the payment on the invoice is NSF. So I'll go to my sales invoices, and this happened back in February, I believe. I'll just go to 11/17. So we have this Breer Architects. So I'm going to choose that one. So we receive a check for this amount. On March 17th. Into RBC checking, and the check number is 87. So a little while later we get our statement and notice that this check has been has come back NSF. And what's happened is the bank has charged us a $25 NSF fee. We're also going to levy a $40 fee of our own to ensure that Breer doesn't give us an NSF check again in the future. So what I have to do is first of all reverse the amount that was paid. So I'm going to go to banking. And I'm going to choose the bank account, and I'll change my filter so I can see that payment. Again, that was March 17th. So there it is there. So I'm just going to delete that payment. So they still owe us that money. Now the next thing I'm going to do is add the bank's charge to the bank account. So they would charge the bank account directly, so we have to handle that with a general journal transaction. So I'm going to choose adjustments, journal, new journal, and I'm going to say Breer NSF check, bank charge. And again, we discovered the check was NSF on the 21st. So we were going to debit that revenue account I just created, administrative fees, the same amount as what the bank charges us, which is $25. I don't include on tax return because we will be paid that back. So that we won't actually lose any money. It won't be an expense to us unless it becomes a bad debt. And then we credit the bank account, which is 1080. We could also handle this in a, whoops, that's not $2,500, it's $25. We could also handle this at the time of bank reconciliation as well. This would come up as a charge on a bank statement. We could add it at that point as well. So I'll choose Save. Now I want to charge that amount to the customer as well as our own administrative fee. So I'm just going to close my general journal. I'll choose my sales invoices. And new invoice to Breer. This is on March 21st. And for the reference, I'll say admin fees for return check or something like that. So I'll say bank charge, and that same account that I charged, again 4110, I can just type that in instead of scrolling to find it. And that was $25, no tax on this. And then again, our own fees, same account. And $40 is what we're charging them for the inconvenience of the NSF check. Again, no tax. I would rarely allocate this to a department, so I'm not going to bother with that. So $65, and I go ahead and save that. Now, if I want to take a look at the statement that they'll receive. So basically we'll send them a statement to let them know they still owe us the money, because they probably think they've paid us, as well as those additional fees. So I'll go to my customer. I'll choose Breer. I'll choose Manage Statements. And I'll choose Manage Statement, and let's go ahead and print that so you can see it, but you can actually email them directly from that screen as well. So there's the 811 they still owe for, right, as well as the $65 that we charged them. So admin fee for return check, so they'll know that they still owe us that amount because it's a return check. So the next thing I'm going to look at is bad debt. So they call us up and they let us know that they have no intention of paying us. So we have to write this amount off now. So what I have to do is quickly create another account to handle bad debts. So let me just take a look at my chart of accounts. I may already have one. So I'm going to quickly choose chart of accounts, and I'll create a new revenue account for my bad debts. So this is bad debts. And the revenue account, I'll use 4115, and it's revenue. And save. So what we have to do is we have to go back to the original invoice and find out what the pre-tax amount is, because when we write off the bad debt, it'll also reduce the amount of tax that we no longer need to remit to the government. So I'm going to go back to the original invoice. So I'll go to sales invoices. I'll find that invoice. Again, it was for 811.34, so I choose that. And the pre-tax amount is 718. So I choose sales credit notes, new credit note, and that's for Breer. And this is now happening on the 24th. And I'll call this bad debt. So we know what it is, and we'll say bad debt. And the ledger account, again, is the account we just created. So this is 4115. And the rate is 718. Again, the pre-tax amount plus tax, so that'll actually reduce the tax that we owe by 93.34. And then I'm going to also say bad debt for admin fees. And that's again bad debts. And that amount is $65. We have to put that on a different line because that one doesn't have any tax. So that'll reduce their amount by the full amount that they owe, $876.34. I'll go ahead and save that. Now if I look at my customers here, you'll see that Breer doesn't owe us any money. So what I just did there negated the amount owed. However, if I look at the invoices for Breer, we still see these amounts and they still show up as outstanding. So we want to clear those amounts from here so that we don't keep on trying to collect or create statements. So every time we create a statement, we don't want to create one for Breer because they've already told us they can't pay us. So what we need to do is go to Contacts, Customers, and then choose Breer. And then choose Account Allocation under the Manage button. And then we just select everything here. You notice you get a 0 for left to allocate. That negates everything. And we choose Save. And now when I go back to Sales Invoices, you see those do not show up as outstanding anymore. If I click on that, for example, amount outstanding 0, amount paid. So it shows up as paid because of that credit note. So that was a quick look at NSF checks and bad debt expenses. Thanks so much for watching.